Turns out that hybrid vehicles is more than likely going to be the middle step between the current ICE vehicle world and the future of battery electric.
All right, we're chatting cars again, and joining me on the line right now, who we've spoken to him before, George Meany. He's the CEO of AutoTrader, and they've brought out a very interesting bit of data, as they always do, because they're just an incubator of data. I mean, they're just collecting data all the time on their website, and it's got to do with hybrid cars. And it's one of those things that is just gaining momentum. Some people are telling me, this is still going to take a long time. Others are saying, well, it's happening at a faster pace than you think. But here to dispel myths and to reinforce the facts is George Meany. And George, it's good to chat to you again.
Yes, you too, Alex. Thank you for having me.
So, George, tell me, where are we at when it comes to hybrid and electric cars in South Africa?
Well, I think, Alex, to kind of paint the backdrop a little bit, we've produced the EV Buyer Survey now 3 years in a row. And EV Buyer Survey, in conjunction with AutoTraders data, and you think you mentioned at the beginning of this, we collect thousands, tens of thousands of data points on a hourly, daily basis because consumers are searching for cars all the time. So layered with our own search data, which is real time, and we can go into history, we also do these buyers surveys where we ask consumers their sentiment and their viewpoints on various vehicle categories and types. And electric vehicles is one that we've done now for the last 3 years. So we decided, after the Toyota Cross was launched last year and seeing the success of the Toyota Cross, looking at the search data, realizing that hybrids are starting to pick up momentum when it comes to consumers and searching for cars. Why is this? Let's see if we can get some more color to the data around hybrid vehicles. And it turns out that I think because of one particular element within the category of battery electric vehicles, hybrids are something that is an alternative because the price point for battery electric vehicles are just way too high still. Because if you look at the EV buyer surveys that we've had in the past, the last 3, the magic number for mass adoption in South Africa was 500,000 Rand, still is 500,000 Rand. If a car gets produced or put on South African roads at under 500,000 Rand, we will reach electric vehicle transition quicker than what we are at the moment. And the cheapest, most cost-effective, cheap doesn't mean nasty. The cheapest battery electric vehicle on the market today is the Mini SE at 650,000 Rand. Oh. So when the Toyota Cross was launched, which is a hybrid vehicle, they could not keep up with demand. We also started seeing search go through the sky, and so we produced this hybrid buyers vehicle survey. And it turns out that hybrid vehicles is more than likely going to be the middle step between the current ICE vehicle world and the future of battery electric, and that's mainly because of the price point.
Well, just to come back to that point right in the beginning that you made. So you're saying this is the 3rd time you're doing it. And if I remember my stats from university correctly, we've now got 3 points with which we can now work out a bit of a trend line from where you initially started.
From a battery electric point of view, yes.
Right. Okay.
From a hybrid point of view, this is the first one.
Okay, right. I got you. So I think if I got that right, it's increasing, but it's not increasing at the rate we're thinking it is increasing at. And that what you're saying is that people are still looking at a petrol-electric combination before going over to electric completely.
100%. So battery electric searches are still doubling for battery electric. The searches and responses on battery electric vehicles are still doubling year on year, and the number of battery electric vehicles getting onto the roads are still doubling year on year. But what's increasing at an exponential rate more than battery electric are hybrids. So hybrids seem to be the order of the day at the moment, and we feel the main reason is the price point. The Toyota Cross and many other hybrids are actually below the 500,000 Rand price point.
Is the move to a hybrid and maybe even later had an electric partly because of our rising fuel prices? And are we also seeing the instability in electricity delivery also playing a factor in terms of go, no go?
So let me address the fuel price first. So definitely the fuel price and the economic conditions within the country are driving consumers to find new and creative ways to reduce costs. Absolutely. The reality though is that even pre the petrol price increases, searches for battery electric vehicles were through the sky. So we've seen this trend take hold and continue pre the fuel price increases and now through the price increases. The thing that we've seen increase exponentially, though, are searches for hybrid vehicles. So you might have a very good point there in that fuel price increases has caused people to accelerate their need for the transition to something alternative outside of fuel, saving fuel, whatever the case may be. They look at EVs. Way too expensive, 650,000 Rand. Next price point is 900,000 Rand. Next price point is 1.4 million Rand. Realizing that that's not achievable, hybrid is the alternative.
Mm. And I mean, to go behind the curtains in terms of the industry itself, I mean, is South Africa ready and geared up to also start producing these cars? Because up until now, I think the factories that we do have in country are all very much petrol focused.
Very good question, Alex. And I spoke to a few OEMs over the last couple of months about this very question around producing vehicles in South Africa. What we don't want to do is import parts, merely assemble, and then not really get any benefit out of manufacture. So the OEMs are taking a slightly different approach. We're still importing all the battery electric vehicles that are hitting our roads. They do have to retool the plants. I think at some point it will get there, but some of the OEMs are looking at Africa as the destination for our current manufacturing processes while importing these battery electric vehicles. So right now, there aren't any plans to retool the plants as far as the OEMs have told me, but that could be something that's on the cards for the future. But at the moment, the volumes are still very low. There's not enough battery electric vehicles in the market in order to retool plants. I mean, you must imagine what it costs to retool plants.
Yeah, it must be incredible, and it's one incredible investment, but it is an investment into the future, and we're going to see how that goes. But interesting times at the moment when it comes to technology and when it comes to cars. And George Meany, CEO of AutoTrader, talking about their 2022 AutoTrader hybrid car buyers survey. I'm going to put up all the details up on the Sandton Times as well if you want to get a little bit more information on that and you want to crunch the numbers and look at them yourselves. It's time for